What's good, everybody? It's your favorite crypto ghostwriter here. You already know I'm Crypto Quentin Miller in these streets, but that's beside the point. So earlier today, I made a post on TikTok. Whether you saw it or not, the post basically was covering the announcement this morning of FTX officially being registered by the Securities Commission of the Bahamas as a digital assets business. So FTX essentially has a subsidiary that will function in the Bahamas. Now, this is a pretty big deal that I feel did not get enough news coverage. And by enough, I mean kind of any. I don't think I saw any Bahamian platforms even mention it, to be honest. And I can't understand why, because this is such a major deal. This is such a big thing that it just warrants attention. It's very important. So I'm gonna get into that here. I wrote an article that you're looking at right now, and I'm just gonna go through the article because throughout the day, as I was writing the article, I'm tired. I need to go to bed. As I was writing the article, I started to sort through my ideas and figure out exactly how I felt about it. And at the end of the day, I realized I still don't know how to feel about it. And I guess it's mainly because I don't know what to expect. But anyway, I'm rambling. Let's just get straight into it. So FTX and the Bahamas, question marks. What does FTX's substantial presence in the Bahamas mean for the country and the people? Now, we've talked about this kind of possibility before, and here I linked to one of my previous articles from a bit earlier this year. I guess it published on August 1st, but I was writing it in July, which is the month of Bahamian Independence Day, talking about Bitcoin in the Bahamas, freedom and independence in a new age, blah, 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 where I talked about the possible implementation or integration of Bitcoin into the Bahamian economy. And just the access of Bitcoin for the Bahamian people and what that could look like. So, I'm not going to go too much into that because we already have an article we're covering, but I'll leave the link to that in the description so that you can check it out if you haven't already. But like I was saying here, we talked about this kind of possibility. We talked about this kind of possibility before, but now that it's here, I don't know how I feel about it. So it was announced this morning that FTX Digital Markets, a subsidiary of the crypto mega giant FTX Trading Limited, which if you've been in the crypto space, you recognize this name, that's based in the Bahamas, this subsidiary based in the Bahamas, has officially been registered by the Securities Commission of the Bahamas, or the Commission, as a digital assets business. I know that the recent political elections are still a hot topic, but like I said earlier, this is news that cannot be allowed to fly under the radar, because this has major implications for the future of the Bahamas and the Bahamian economy. This approval came under the recently enacted Digital Asset and Registered Exchanges, or DARE Act. Coming into effect on December 14, 2020, DARE not only provided comprehensive legislation for the issuance, sale, and trade of digital assets in or from within the jurisdiction, which in this case is the Bahamas, but it also legally recognized distributed ledger technology, which, I mean, we know what that actually is, blockchain, as a launch pad for disruptive innovation within the financial services sector and far beyond. So in here, we just touch on these new developments and talk a bit about what this could mean for Bahamians living in the Bahamas, or Bahamians in general. So we'll start with the DARE Act. Now, the DARE Act, which came into existence literally less than a year ago, I'm not kidding, people, this actually December 14, 2020 is when it was enacted. It's not even December yet, but I digress. The info that I got here, a lot of it was sourced directly from Graham Thompson Attorney's legal updates section, a blog post that they had right here, where they listed the 15 facts on Digital Assets and Registered Exchanges Act. It was published on January 25th of this year, 2021. And they highlight the most important parts of the ridiculously long bill. It's stupid long, trust me. And I highly recommend visiting their post for a short summary that highlights these key points and some of the frequently asked questions about the DARE Act. And I summarize their summary here, or some of it. So, first thing to note is who the DARE Act applies to. So, DARE applies to any organizer, issuer, founder, purchaser, or investor as defined by DARE that participates in the formation, promotion, maintenance, organization, sale, or redemption of an initial token offering, or ITO. I mean, like, come on, people. Switch out the T for a C. Come on, man. Anyway, as well as any legal entity carrying on a digital asset business, irrespective of any physical location from which the activity is carried out. Another thing to note is that these digital assets and related activities will all be regulated exclusively by the Commission. And here's a short look at their to-do list. So, the regulation, monitoring, and supervising of the issuance of digital currencies and those persons conducting digital asset businesses in or from within the Bahamas. The development of rules, guidance, and codes of practice with regard to the conduct of digital asset businesses and ITOs. The approval and regulation of digital asset businesses. The regulation of initial and subsequent token offers, enforcing the provisions and any violations of DARE. And here I laid out a few terms with their definitions that I feel that were pulled from the 15 facts of the DARE. And I wanted to highlight these specifically because based on their definition, and the nature of the space, I can tell you without a doubt that these are going to be keywords that you will be seeing a lot of going forward with regards to anything to do with FTX or any of these digital assets, quote unquote, going forward in the Bahamas. So I wanted to highlight these so that we all have a fair understanding of these terms that are soon to be commonplace. So first up, digital asset. So that's a digital representation of value distributed through a distributed ledger technology platform or blockchain platform where value is embedded or in which there is a contractual right of use, including digital tokens. Now, a digital token is a kind of digital asset that can be broken down into 4 categories: virtual currency tokens, asset tokens, utility tokens, and non-fungible tokens, NFTs. You see how that popping back up there? Digital asset business, an umbrella term that includes things like digital token exchanges, payment service providers, digital asset service providers, and participants or providers of financial services related to digital asset sales. A digital token exchange. That is a marketplace in the form of a platform using DLT, blockchain, for the sale, trade, or exchange of digital tokens, whether for fiat currency or one or more digital tokens. So basically a crypto exchange, but it's digital tokens, not crypto. Initial token offering. An offer made by an issuer, which is the entity contractually responsible for issuing the digital token, to the public for sale of a digital token in exchange for fiat currency or another digital asset. Now, they do go into more detail about things like who's invited to apply for registration, what registration and compliance requirements look like, how data protection will be handled, and all of that is good and dandy, but it's very overwhelming. Like I said, It's 74 pages. And to show you I'm not joking, it's 74 whole pages. It's 74 whole pages. So if you really want to know what's in this bill, I'm gonna provide the link. Go nuts. For the average person, I would skip this. I would go straight to the 15 facts just so you could get the gist. Read through some of this. Go over. Make sure you get a good understanding of these terms, because these will be important going forward, and you should be fine. Otherwise, I honestly can't recommend reading this whole thing. I'm in this space and I didn't want to read this whole thing, so I'm not gonna expect you to do that. But it's there if you want to. Now let's touch on the FTX side of things. So FTX is one of the largest crypto platforms in the world, offering products or services such as derivatives, options, tokenized stocks, and an over-the-counter desk. Now they offer more services and products than these that I listed here, but I wanted to point these out specifically because I just have a hunch that these are going to be relevant to FTX's operations in the Bahamas. Just a hunch. I mean, I don't know nothing, but just a hunch. Anyway, Sam Bankman-Fried, supreme overlord and founder of FTX, was quoted. I'm just joking. He's the CEO and founder, but it's kind of funny. He was quoted, "With this expansion through the DARE Act, we are further committing to providing all of our clients with a safe, trustworthy, and compliant exchange. We are committed to maintaining a close working relationship with local regulators so that together we can navigate putting a comprehensive regulatory framework in place to help promote the growth of this nascent asset class." Now, Ryan, I want to say Salami, but it feels wrong, so I'm just going to skip your last name altogether. Sir, please forgive me. Someone please tell me how to properly pronounce this gentleman's name, but I'll just call you Ryan. Ryan, former head of over-the-counter trading at Alameda Research and newly appointed CEO of FTX DM, stated, "The relationship we have fostered with local regulators, culminating with us being authorized under the framework offered through the DARE Act, gives me confidence that we'll be able to work closely with regulators to make sure our offerings are compliant in multiple jurisdictions." Now, as I was rereading the article after I had finished writing it and was going through the editing process, this part stood out to me a little bit. Make sure offerings are compliant in multiple jurisdiction. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm getting certain vibes from this statement. We're testing this out here so that we could see what we could do nearby vibes, i.e. multiple jurisdictions. But what do I know? I'm just a guy talking on the internet. One important thing to note from this announcement, however, is the fact that neither FTX nor Bahamian officials have announced what kinds of services they plan on rolling out yet. Crypto services are all I really care about. The other stuff, I honestly don't care. But I want to know what kind of crypto services. But they haven't said what any of their services will be yet. But using the international FTX platform for reference, though, you can speculate what kinds of services they would offer here. You can speculate. Stepping back to look at the full picture, this is just another one of the major plays made by FTX on the international market. Sam, gotta catch 'em all, Bankman-Fried. Get it? Gotta catch 'em all, because he's going out and catching all the crypto stuff. I'm a nerd. Sam Bankman-Fried means business and has been working his mergers and acquisition team overtime, expanding the company's international operations and influence in the space. From sports stadium acquisitions to crypto derivatives platform acquisitions, and not to mention the $900 million funding round that they just closed just a couple months ago, I think back in July. So they got cake. Like they're not shy. They got cake. FTX has been on an absolute tear this past year, and they're showing no signs of slowing down. So what now? Right? And that's an excellent question. And as is always the answer in all of my content, all of my articles, all of my conversations, I don't know. Yo, no say. I don't have a clue. I can't tell you for sure. Unless you're in those rooms or part of the teams directly involved in these dealings or in these conversations, there's no way to know for sure where this is going to go. I mean, it could potentially open the door for a lot of opportunity in the Bahamas, but at the same time, I'm still kind of apprehensive. So I had quite a few thoughts when I first heard the announcement this morning. I listed out a couple of them here. I have more thoughts than these, but these are the most poignant ones, or these are what I felt are the most poignant ones, and the ones that I would really like to know some more information about. So first and foremost, is the Bahamas finally going to have a simple on-ramp for Bahamians to be able to easily purchase Bitcoin or any other crypto? This is the biggest thing for me, because this alone, from my conversations with dozens of people back home who showed interest, who were genuinely interested in entering the crypto space or just wanted to see what the crypto space was about, this opportunity has always eluded a lot of people because they're basically region locked in a sense. There's no infrastructure in place for them to easily cross over from fiat to crypto. And the fiat in the Bahamas isn't the US dollar, it's the Bahamian dollar. So then the issue is going from the Bahamian dollar to some kind of digital asset that you can use to access crypto, which in most places is Bitcoin, the starter. That's like the base. That's like vanilla. If all of the flavors, Bitcoin is the vanilla. It's the best one because it always works. Bias aside though, if they do provide this on-ramp for Bahamians, I feel like this would alone is a major deal for the country. It is massive because regardless of your intentions, regardless of what you intend to do with crypto, if you're looking to hit a quick lick, if you're looking to potentially save up money, if you just want to get your feet wet in the world of investing in crypto, if this stuff excites you and you just wanted to see what all the hype was about for yourself, you would officially be able to. You would have the freedom to do that if this on-ramp was provided by FTX in the Bahamas. Another thought, FTX, a Bahamas-based crowdfunding or fundraising platform, recently launched, allowing many Bahamian individuals to take their first steps as investors and many Bahamian business owners to have an alternative means of raising capital. Now, I just use FTX here as an example because this is a company that I'm watching personally. I have a lot of interest in this company, and I will be watching them in the coming years to see where they go. But outside of that, what they do is the most important part here. And I wanted to highlight that because of this part here. So if they were to collab with FTX DM, could this potentially lead to tokenized stocks or shares becoming a part of their services portfolio or their service products? So if you've been in the crypto space over the past year, or if you've been in the crypto space for a while, you've seen these tokenized stocks, the tokenization of stocks and shares. You've seen the world of stocks and shares starting to come and assimilate into the world of crypto. Just last week, we had a story on the NASDAQ having direct conversations and dealings with a crypto company. So these two worlds, these two very different worlds of finance are starting to come together in a sense. And it's more so the traditional finance coming into the world of crypto or trying to move or assimilate into this new frontier. A result of that we've recently seen have been these tokenized shares or tokenized stocks that now allow people, instead of buying an entire share of a company that they may not be able to afford, you can buy a fraction of it using a token that represents that share of the company. So now, instead of a $500 stock that you can't afford, you can put up $5 or $10 for a fraction of that stock. You know, like crypto has been doing since 2009. But I digress. Tokenized stocks, if that does pop up, that would be amazing. Another thought. Numerous Cash App clones have popped up in the Bahamas, like Canoe, the Island Pays, the Cash and Goes, the apps that facilitate both peer-to-peer and business transactions. With the infrastructure already being built out for the Sand Dollar, remember the Bahamian central bank digital currency that we wrote about, and that I was kind of iffy but still excited about, that thing. Yeah, I'll just leave the link for this article in the bio if you haven't read that one either. But that was a big deal in and of itself for the Bahamas. But with that infrastructure already being built out, could these companies also facilitate some sort of custodial services for crypto assets? I mean, I'm not a cybersecurity expert, so I could be completely wrong here, but I feel like the standards of security for a CBDC would be similar or on par in comparison to those necessary for crypto assets or a crypto wallet. That's just me. That's just a guess. I could be wrong. But, I mean, is this a possibility still? That would be interesting to know. Another thought, speaking of custodial services, in the event that crypto is one of the offered products here, and let's be real, it's FTX, crypto's definitely gonna be a service. Well, let me not say definitely because I don't know for sure. I can't actually say that. But it's FTX. You know what time it is. But if crypto is offered, will Bahamians have the full autonomy to remove their assets from the platform, or will it be some BS like Robinhood where all you get is an IOU instead of the actual asset itself? Now, I do have to preface this by saying that I did see a story earlier today that Robinhood is recently testing out some new software. I'm assuming something to finally let you take your crypto off of the platform. I guess I didn't really look that much into it because I don't rate that company. But nonetheless, as it currently stands, you still can't take your crypto off of Robinhood. You can just buy or sell, and that's it. But if this is the case here, if crypto is introduced in the Bahamas, will we be able to remove it, or will it just be that IOU on the platform? Another thought. Several crypto companies were attempted by Bahamian entrepreneurs prior to FTX's introduction. I mean, even prior to the DARE Act itself. But one day I just woke up, blinked, and all of the companies were just gone. So what happened to them? I mean, my assumption is, the good old regulatory chokehold. And I have no way to know this for sure. Again, assumptions, speculation. But if the lack of clear regulations was the issue to begin with, then why wouldn't these Bahamian businesses be the first to be supported or launched after regulations had been clarified, instead of debuting with essentially another foreign entity that wants to plant the flag for their corporation in the country? And this plant the flag thing isn't something that I made up. This was actually a part of a quote from Ryan, from the CEO of FTX DM. Referencing FTX planting their flag in the Bahamas. And this it's nothing against FTX, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to bash the company, but I'm just saying, I mean, we've been hearing years of pro Bahamas, support Bahamian businesses, support Bahamian entrepreneurs, all of this good stuff. We've been hearing all of this good talk, but I mean, I'm just, from what I'm seeing, I'm only speaking on what I'm seeing. If you've been in the crypto space over the past, I want to say 3-4 years, you've seen 1, 2, 3 crypto related companies attempt to start up in the Bahamas, or get the ball rolling on some products or services in the Bahamas, and then all of a sudden you just blink and poof, they were just gone. No word, no update, no nothing. And my guess is regulation, but if it was regulation, then why weren't they revitalized? Why didn't we revisit those companies? What made FTX the one, you know? And final thoughts. I mean, it just feels a little sus to me, all in all. Like, I'm far from a super political person. Do not get me wrong, please. I am in no way, shape, or form politically tied to any political parties. I have equal disdain across the board. Trust me, I don't pick sides. I don't like any of the sides. But that being said, I mean, I'm just saying, the elections were just 4 days ago, right? The political elections for the country was just 4 days ago. This announcement from FTX was made literally on the same day as the swearing-in ceremony of the newly appointed cabinet ministers, 4 days later. I am not saying that these two things are related. I cannot say that. I cannot make that kind of claim because I'm not privy to any of this information. But I mean, come on, dog. It can't just be me. It honestly can't just be me. That's a little sus. That's kind of sus. It's just 4 days. 4 days. 4 days. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know how long they was talking to them. I don't know how long they've been in deliberations with these whatever's going on. But 4 days after the election, this gets announced on the same day as the. It's just sus. It's just sus. It could just be me though. It can't. I don't think it's just me, but it could just be me. All in all, though, everything here is purely speculative. Nothing has officially been confirmed or denied yet. This could easily be one of the greatest tech breakthroughs for the Bahamas, finally allowing more Bahamians to easily step into the digital age and take part in this global tech renaissance. On the other hand, though, it could just as easily be another instance of a foreign company being allowed to come into the country and do as they please. Again, I emphasize this because this is so important, because I cannot afford to make any enemies right now, especially ones that I could potentially make some money from and or with. This is all speculation. I mean, what do I know? I'm just a guy talking on the internet, you know? But, yeah, man. And then the rest of this is just me getting off. It's just, yeah, fleeting thoughts that marinate in my subconscious as I sip on my whiskey, staring out into the September sky, missing home. Boy, let me tell you, them English classes in SAC really did wonders. Thank you, Mr. Pratt. I gotta thank Mr. Pratt. I digress, though. But yeah, these are just some of the thoughts that I had. I have more thoughts, definitely, but I want to be sure to flesh them out more. I want to sit on them a bit more, think them through, see what other information I can gather, to formulate a more cohesive thought or a more cohesive line of thinking, and then come back to you guys with the report. Hopefully I could even grab an interview or two here or there. We'll see. I don't know what's coming up. But we'll just wrap it up right here. So thank you for tuning into this video. This is the first in my new series of videos that will be my new podcast. This is the debut. Congratulations. You were here for the debut of the world's best crypto ghostwriters podcast. Now, if you've been following me for a while, or if you've known me for like the past about 5 years, you know that I had another podcast previously called Block Talk Podcast, which is still available actually. I think it's still on Spotify and Anchor and all of those other platforms, but you can still go back and look at some of the episodes that I had there. I had to stop it as I moved. I changed states, moved, life changed, stuff happened, so I fell back from the episodes for a bit, but I'm back and ready for action. So I'm on the fence on whether I will be rebranding Block Talk and just starting from scratch, starting fresh, or if I'll just, continue with Block Talk, pick up where I left off and just keep it going. I don't know. We'll see. Until then, this will just be the unnamed or untitled crypto podcast from your favorite crypto ghostwriter. That being said, though, thank you for taking the time out to sit down, watch this video, listen to me ramble on about things that I think about day and night. If you like this kind of content, definitely smash that like button down there. It helps with the algorithms and it helps me out. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this FTX announcement, what you think about FTX being in the Bahamas. Let me know any thoughts you had on the story overall, any thoughts you may have had, anything that I may have missed out that you're aware of. I want it to be an open discussion because I love talking about this stuff. Anything extreme, I guess you could just DM me. I'm pretty easy to find on all socials. If you want to hear more of the unfinished takes, I call them, because I haven't fully thought them through yet. We could talk in the DM some more. But again, thank you. Smash that like button, drop a comment down below, share the video, share this out to another Bahamian. Spread this to one more Bahamian. It's great if we get it internationally. That'd be even better. That'd be amazing. But this is really important for this to get out to Bahamians, specifically Bahamians. So share the video, and if you like this, I'm going to be having a lot more content coming out just like this, covering cryptocurrencies, not just in the Bahamas, but globally. I'll have a lot of things focusing on the Bahamas too, though, because it's home. We need this coverage. We need unbiased coverage. Well, kind of biased. You need kind of biased coverage. I'm biased for us, though. It's a good bias. Don't worry about it. But man, hit that subscribe button and don't forget the little tingly bell so that you get those notifications so you don't miss every time a new video drops. Until next time, it's L, your favorite crypto ghostwriter. I'm out. Y'all take it easy.